2018 Aston Martin DB11 V8. They say, less is more. Well, that's what we were hoping when we got the launch invite for a new Aston Martin DB11 variant, because for the first time in nearly 50 years, there's a V8 under the bonnet. But not just any V8, because in another milestone moment, Aston's relationship with Mercedes-AMG has delivered AMG's potent 4.0-liter twin-turbo V8 engine, which the company says, has been tuned to deliver the right level of performance, as well as that unique Aston sound, befitting of an Aston Martin Grand Tourer with a bit of attitude. In all honesty, though, we flew to Catalonia, in northern Spain, carrying not only our bags, but also, a fair degree of trepidation that such a move would only serve to undermine the iconic DB badge, given its decades-old addiction to V12 power. Drill down into the performance figures and you'll very quickly realize that there's very little in it, at least, when it comes to outright acceleration. The 5.2-liter twin-turbo V12, which boasts 447 kilowatts and 700 Nm, claims the 0 to 100 km/h sprint in 3.9 seconds, while the V8 version makes 375 kilowatts and 675 Nm, and is good for 4 seconds flat. Aston has used its own engine management system, too. It's a Bosch engine controller, but with combined Aston Martin, Bosch software, and a dedicated AM wiring harness, rather than a direct AMG lift. And, thankfully, after many hours of tuning, along with a fair degree of in-house audio wizardry, the exhaust note is all Aston. Apparently, it's not an exact science, so the engineers told us. After studying the sound frequency graphs of the AMG GTS, which delivers the bulk of its bass sound below 300 Hz, Aston went the other way for the DB11 V8, by taking out much of that low-range bass noise out, and putting into the mid-range frequencies, which is why this thing sounds so different from the Benz. The unique Aston noise is more or less down to the bespoke exhaust system and the unique way the engineers have dealt with the exhaust gases, which are in turn, governed by the black magic that goes on inside the muffler unit. But whatever it is, it sure has worked, because, to this tester, it's one of the car's most defining features, but, then again, there are a lot of those on this car. At the launch site, the PR team had placed a V12 and V8 next to each other, and frankly, you'd need a keen eye to spot the differences between the two versions, and what there is all up front. The V8 is missing the two center-mounted bonnet vents. Apparently, it doesn't need them, because there are ducts that blow air over the turbos to help keep the temperatures down.